Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing? Look at the skyline of Chicago. We got January the 28th, 2026. The lake's still trying to freeze over. I still see liquid water. I see steam coming off the lake. Pretty calm lake, very viscous. And we got the Michigan mountains there. This is Lake Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. We got about 5 degrees in the AM. That's looking north up to Diversity Harbor. We're at Fullerton. See Fullerton underpass is right there for Sable Lakeshore Drive. And there's the skyline of Chicago. Krista, GMJ, how you doing? Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, so we did this kind of on Monday at lunchtime because it was amazing. On Sunday, it looked like the lake was frozen over and there were people out here. The snow was gathering on the water. Where do you see snow collect on the top of water? You know, it was somehow able to get a foothold and make it look like it was frozen. But it is trying to freeze over closer to Oak Street Beach. Yeah, the snow kind of drifted down in this little hole here. Some deep snow right here. But here, we'll head towards the skyline. I'm heading to work. That's, you know, this is my walk to work, my commute to work. I'm going a little out of my way to come to the lake here. But hey, Grandma's Corner, Wayne. Yeah. Sabrina's Suburban Garden there. CJ's mom, thanks for being on, Lindsay. Yeah, beautiful view. Yeah, thanks for being up early, up late. I think the sun's supposed to rise at 7:06. So we got 6:47 in the AM Central Time Zone. There's some ducks. Is that ducks? Or yeah, those ducks were in that same place. There's some ducks on the Lake Michigan. It's starting to freeze over. How duck feet can be frozen. They got their down feathers to keep them warm there. Yeah, good morning, Prince. MBT, how you doing there? Good morning. Yeah, look at we're gonna have a nice sunrise here. So you see how inside these pilings, you know, there's to keep the boats from coming onto the sand. Actually, more importantly, this keeps the sand from washing away from the North Avenue beach. And you see how inside those pilings the ice is starting to form because it's calmer. And the lake's right at the threshold, 32 degrees, 33 degrees water temperature at the surface. You see how there's that little ice chunks in Lake Michigan. Yeah, it's a cold day. Thanks for tuning in there from New Mexico. Here, look at that. Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful sunrise here. Thanks for being a part of it. Yeah, we'll head towards that John Hancock Sears Tower. Yeah, France. So, yeah, 5 degrees. What is that? Negative 15 degrees Celsius. Pretty calm. See how? Look at the patterns in the ice. Patterns in the ice forming here in the little beach protected areas. Yeah, Wes is tuning in there. Yeah, Wes, we tried to get that issue resolved with that other account. I subscribed to it, and one other person was having the same issue, you know, and we tried to get you restored, but it's really hard to get it back on YouTube. I didn't realize how hard it is, and yeah, it was an accident. That's usually you know, it always happens. There's accidents. People accidentally get muted. And but hey, TikTok's still having problems. I see all news articles about people leaving TikTok en masse, and they're downloading this new app from Australia called Uppost or Upscroll. I think it's called Upscrolled. I looked into it. Upscrolled, you know, it's okay. It's like Instagram. You can't. It's worse than Instagram because you can't live stream on it. So I'm a live streamer. If it had a live streaming, I would try it. Maybe they're going to add it in the future. But I think people are just looking for an alternative. We're looking for an alternative to all the social media apps. Like, no one likes any of them. And, you know, the billionaires can, they're collecting the garbage here along the So they clear the bike path and the running path for multiple reasons. It's so city sanitation workers can clear the garbage and police can patrol this, and there's several reasons they clear this. They actually treat the bike path like a road where it's open 24/7 for public access. The people actually use it, like me, to commute sometimes. But hey, so the ice is just forming behind the pilings. We got the icy shore, North Avenue Beach here in Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. 6:51 in the AM, 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 Celsius. If you like this information, hit the thumbs up there. You can follow me on Substack, TikTok, Brian Really Chicago, but at least I didn't delete my TikTok. Some people with 400,000 followers deleted their TikTok app because they're worried about it tracking them. It was tracking them before, now it's tracking them even more. Everything tracks you. If something's free in app stores on your phone, it's probably tracking you. It's probably reselling the information. You can turn tracking services off, but it's hard. Everywhere you go, it knows where you're at. That's how it finds you when somebody calls you on your cell phone. It triangulates the cell towers. They can determine your general location, where even if you turn tracking off, they still know where you're at. It's just, they do it for the consumer, so people feel like they have control, and they'll still pay their phone bill to be tracked by the telecommunications companies that coordinate with local governments. They can turn the internet off at any time. Social media isn't free speech. It's monetized speech. You pay a cell phone bill to use it every year, every month. It's the opposite of free speech. It's monetized speech. That's why there's terms and conditions. Our First Amendment free speech rights do not extend to the open airwaves here. It's not just the FCC. You can say a lot of nasty stuff on the internet you can't say on the public airwaves. But it's for social control. Yeah, we should stop calling it social media. We should call it social control. Yeah, I was spending all day on social control. Now I'm programmed. I bought 3 things I didn't need, and my mind's filled with useless political talking points. I've been reprogrammed to be a bot for the machine. We'll debate politics incessantly and solve nothing. Here's Lake Michigan. So hey, welcome to the icy shores of Lake Michigan, Chicago, Illinois. I'm heading to work here. We're at the north end of North Avenue Beach. We're on the running path. You see the skyline of Chicago there in the distance. We got 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 Celsius. And we're heading to work here on a Wednesday. Yeah, bear down. Bear down for the weather. The Bears are out of the playoffs. We'll see if the Seahawks can beat the New England Patriots. Yeah, lots of nasty stuff. Cities are just full of pollution. Summertime, wintertime, all these cars, all these, well, it's just mainly heat rising, hot air. You know, these buildings all have HVAC. The steam looks more dramatic when it gets cold. It's not like a factory belching smoke. That's all down in Gary and Hammond in Michigan, Indiana. You can go down there and see the open flames burning off the excess oil, refined oil there. So, believe it or not, I was in Texas for several weeks. I was in Galveston in December visiting family and friends. I got family and friends that live in Houston, Texas. It's even 35 degrees in Texas, so it's cold. Even in Miami Beach, it was 62 degrees. So 62 degrees would be swimming weather in Chicago, but in Miami, Florida, that's a cold jacket day where you stay inside, 62 degrees. So even Miami, Florida, you know, and but hey, we're going to catch a beautiful sunrise here. We got 6:55 in the AM. We're Lake Michigan. We're by the restrooms here. This little house you see by DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Yeah, 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 Celsius. We got 6:55 in the AM. How you doing? Just walking to work here along the Lakefront running path. Hey, do you like me being loud? I'll be louder. I'll even be louder. Turn down the volume. I'm so loud. Loud and proud. I'm not even gay. I'm a heterosexual man that is sexually envious and wishes he was gay. I don't mean that to diminish. I'm not an incel. I love women. I'm not a misogynist. That's not why I'm saying that. I'm saying because it doubles your chances of getting a date on Saturday night. You know, you got a bigger pool there. Maybe I should rephrase it. I wish I was bisexual, but I'm not. You know, I'm not attracted to men, so sexually. So that kind of ruins that. But I'm empathetic. You know, I understand. But I've noticed an increase in people using gay as a pejorative during the second Trump administration. They're even using it like an official, like, media clips. They're like, this is gay. Like a politician will say it. I'm serious. You know, it's like I'm seeing it like, you know, it's like no holds barred anymore. It's like, you know, people feel like they can go back to the high school hitting you in the back of the head with a spit wad. When it, you know, it kind of feels like what the whole administration's doing to the country too. But hey, welcome to North Avenue Beach. Welcome to snow, 5 degrees. We got a whole week of cold temperatures. But at least we're near the end of January. Once we get to February's a short month. And then we can start to count down to March. And once we get to March, we can start talking about the Iditarod. We can start talking about St. Patrick's Day, dyeing the river green. And we only have 6 more months of winter after that. Here's welcome to Chicago. Here's Skyline. Hey, we're gonna get a beautiful sunrise. Yeah, getting close to Teddy there. How you doing there, Teddy? Thanks for tuning in. There's the North Avenue Beach, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. Yeah, working inside, outside some. Working inside and outside. Yeah, that's good. London, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Groundhog Day's coming up. What, February the 2nd? Yeah, we're almost to Groundhog Day. We'll go to Punxsutawney Phil there, Pennsylvania. They'll show the Bill Murray Groundhog Day 24/7. We all feel like we're stuck in groundhog gear. It's like we're stuck in 2017 over and over again. Yeah, who says this looks like London? I don't think Chicago looks like London. Chicago doesn't even look like New York. London does have some high-rise buildings, like by the wharves. Actually, London has a lot of high-rise buildings, but they're spread out. There's some in the financial area. There's some by that on the Thames River that's further east there. The old wharves, they reconverted to commercial skyscrapers. Paris is the same way. The central part of Paris is all historic, and the cathedrals and the palaces and the Louvre and the parks and the Seine and Arch de Triomphe and the Notre Dame. But then, like Montparnasse, it's like all by itself. They got these skyscrapers that just kind of jut out of the neighborhood. And then they got on the west side of Paris, there's a big central business district, a modernist district near the train lines there. And a lot of European cities, the skyscraper district will be on the edge because the center is the historic part. Chicago, the historic part was built over several times, the Loop. Every one of those lots was destroyed in the Great Chicago Fire, and then they built it again, and most of them have been rebuilt like 10 times, like 10 different buildings have existed in the same spot. They just keep reusing this, tear the building down, rebuild a new skyscraper. The clearest example is the Chase Bank building at the center of the Loop in Chicago. It's about 70 stories tall. They tore down a 50-story building, the Morrison Hotel, and the Morrison Hotel was built in the 1920s. So before they built the Morrison Hotel, they probably tore down a 10-story building or several 10-story buildings to build a 50-story building. And this is in Chicago. And then they tore down a 50-story building to build a 70-story building. And then some of the buildings, they just add floors to them. They just keep adding floors to the top, like they were designed that way. The Blue Cross Blue Shield building, when I moved to Chicago in 1999, it was only about 30 stories tall. Now it's about 60 story tall, or 55. They doubled the height. While it was occupied, they were able to add floors to it as the demand for commercial office space at that time in the 2000s was growing. Now it's the opposite. Now the demand for commercial office space is going down. Hey, welcome to Chicago. Here we're by the shores of Lake Michigan. Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. We got +5 degrees Fahrenheit, -15 Celsius. And we got 7 o'clock on the dot. Here's your 7 a.m. wake-up call, Central Time Zone, North America. Thanks for tuning in. Lake Michigan, North Avenue Beach. We're North Avenue, about 1600 north on the address system. Aisha, how you doing there? Christy, James, Grandma's Corner. Yeah, Lorraine's tuning in. That's nice. LA, baby. Yeah. Yeah, the second daily planted a lot of flowers. But as I often say, how can America be truly great if we don't have great cities? And I know that's the current debate we're having. And you know what I feel about Minneapolis. Here's an update on Ernesto and his family. I know a lot of you are aware. We were talking about it last night. Ernesto did message his mod team and message the rest of us. So Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies, I don't know if he's going to live stream from Minneapolis or not. He's grieving. His family's grieving. They unfortunately had a close family member pass away. And it's such a tragic because it's related to what's going on in Minneapolis. And the way Ernesto describes, he gave me more details yesterday. Over a week ago, about a week and a half ago, maybe last weekend, in between the Renee Good killing or murder and the Alex Preddy murder, that weekend when they were pulling people out of cars and ripping them out, cutting off seatbelts and slamming people to the ground at gas stations, ICE felt emboldened by the words of the leadership at the executive level in Washington, D.C. to crack a bunch of heads and intimidate the Minneapolis population. And they label U.S. citizens domestic terrorists. We know that's not the case. And Ernesto's 15-year-old teenage cousin was with his girlfriend. They were in Minneapolis. I don't know, they were walking down the street or in a car. I don't know what happened. And according to Ernesto, and I believe him because a similar thing happened to him, ICE grabbed them from behind and was questioning them about showing identity. He goes, I'm 15 years old. I don't even have a driver's license. You know, I'm a minor. You expect minors to be carrying ID wherever they go. I guess in Trump's America, you have to. And, of course, they were profiled. They looked Hispanic, Latino, and that's, you know, even though they spoke perfect English, you know, have been profiled. And it escalated to the point where Ernesto's cousin, 15, again, this is according to Ernesto. I have to believe him. You wouldn't, especially with how this story ended, you would not make this up. ICE was pretty rough with him. They put a gun in his back. They handcuffed him. They actually processed him. He went to the local detention facility for like 12 hours, 11 hours. Listen to this. A 15-year-old U.S. citizen was released from ICE. They just kicked him out to the frozen cold in the middle of the night. I am not joking. This is what Ernesto just told me. And he had to walk to a gas station that was open 24/7 and beg them to make a call to his parents. This is a 15-year-old U.S. citizen kid. Why was it so horribly mistreated by our government? You know, and here's why. After he saw what happened to Alex Preddy, he got depressed and attempted suicide. He tried to hang himself. Again, a 15-year-old. This is why this policy is too brutal. It's affecting the psyche of our young people, and that's the intention. The cruelty, the fact that masked men. We don't even know the identity of the people that killed it. Does ICE even know the identity of their own people that did it? Or that, you know, who's watching the watchers? But anyway, our hearts go out to Ernesto and his family. They are grieving the loss of his cousin, 15-year-old, that committed suicide. And it's you can't say it contributed it to his depression and him committing suicide. And it's just such a shame. And so we're here to support Ernesto. He's going to give us all updates. If there's more information about funeral arrangements or memorials or anything, we'll send you information. But I'm just relaying the information because I know a lot of you know Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies. You'll notice that he won't be streaming from Chicago the rest of this week, and this is why. And hopefully he's okay with me talking about this. Again, I am very... my heart goes out to their family. This illustrates how this is affecting America. It's not just the hardened criminals that they're allegedly going after. And yeah, even though Bovino's out of there, it doesn't seem like they're changed. They're going to continue this stuff because it's part of their modus operandi here. But here's such a tragedy. But sorry to lay that on you so early in the morning. I just want to talk about it before the sunrise. We'll switch to talk about the sunrise here. So here, welcome to Chicago. We got 7:06. That's the sun rising. I got to make sure I don't walk on this ice. We'll wait till it rises over the clouds there. So the sun's rising, but it's behind the clouds. This is Lake Michigan by North Avenue Beach. We got January the 28th, 2026, 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 degrees Celsius. We're by the shores of North Avenue Beach. We got 7:07 in the AM. There's your sunrise over Lake Michigan for Wednesday. And thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, the cold weather gets old. You know, you dress as many layers as possible, but it gets tiring just every time you go outside. You gotta wear like 5 layers and double socks and boots and you know, because I'm spending like over an hour walking. You know, if you're just running to the car, it's no big deal. And but you want to make sure you got some warm in case your car breaks down and you get stuck in an accident. You might have to have some blankets in your car or sleeping bag or something. I don't even have a car. That's why I'm out here walking. My glasses are steaming up. But hey, welcome to Chicago. Yeah, let's see if we can catch this sunrise. Trying to keep my glasses from steaming up. Too much hot air is coming out of my mouth. Hey, that sun's gonna burn through there. I can't see anything here. My glasses are steamed up. I'm waiting for my glasses to get unsteamed here. Hey, it's better this way. I'll go through life with foggy glasses. Hey, the sun's gonna rise out of those clouds. It should be a pretty nice sunrise. We'll get right over to the water. I want to see if the lake's trying to freeze over here by heading towards between North Avenue and Oak Street Beach. But we still got liquid water. That's looking north up to Lakeview. Let me see if my glasses will unsteam if I take them away from my yeah, smaller. You must be in New York. That's good. Yeah, we're at mini New York, but we got a lake, no ocean. I've been to Coney Island. Yeah, and see my glasses. They won't. Hold on one second here. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to get the moisture off my glasses here. There, does that help a little bit? It won't even clear off. It's so. I think it's frozen. Yeah, it's frozen on my glasses. Yeah, it was on the inside of my glasses. It actually froze. The frost froze. Now I need to clear this off. Hold on one second here. I'm cleaning off my glasses here. There we go. We can do it that way. Okay, let's go see the sunrise. Put the glasses back on here. Got to get it in my ear hole here. There we go. Hey, there's your sunrise. January the 28th, 2026, Chicago, Illinois. See, there's the skyline of Chicago there. And there's your sun rising over the Michigan mountains there, the clouds that collect on the Michigan side of Lake Michigan. and we got 5 degrees Fahrenheit. We got negative 15 degrees Celsius, and we're 7:11 in the AM. This is Fortnite. Yeah, welcome to Fortnite Chicago Grand Theft Auto Edition. Yeah, there's hey, look at that sunrise. That's nice how it's coming through the clouds. We're at North Avenue Beach here, heading towards the sun. Good morning America, how are you? Hello citizens of the earth, thanks for tuning in here. Thanks for checking out Lake Michigan. Yeah, look at that sunrise. So the lake's trying to freeze over. My glasses are trying to freeze over. So here we'll switch and we'll start heading towards the skyline here. I just want to get the sun breaking through the clouds there. 7:12 in the AM, Chicago, Illinois. Here's your Lake Michigan sunrise, 5 degrees. Negative 15 Celsius. Yeah, look at those rays coming across the steaming water. Beaming into your phone across the universe. Hey, there's my frosty mustache there. So here, let me turn around. We flip around the camera here. See if it flips back around. Sometimes it won't flip back around. There, it flips back around. So I'm walking to work. The reason, if you're just tuning in, I guess you must be new to my channel, I appreciate it. For the past 27 years, I've been walking, biking, taking a train without a car, getting to work. I live in Chicago without a car. For the past 3 years, we've been live streaming most of my walks to work and home. And it's nothing big. It's just, you know, I'm always on the touristy north side here. I do got 500 videos of the south and west side spread across TikTok and YouTube. We got almost 100,000 followers on TikTok, and TikTok's all messed up now. So we've been streaming on YouTube for several months now in anticipation of the Oracle takeover. And so we're growing our audience on YouTube here. I appreciate you for finding us here. Here's the sunrise. You know, I do simple stuff like this. We just show the changing the seasons. We walk through the neighborhoods that are on my way there, check out the historic housing. But I do not adequately cover. It's impossible to cover a city as large as this adequately enough. There's so many great Chicago live streamers and content creators that post stuff from all over the city. So just, if you're looking for a different area of the city, please check out some other live streamers. I do get other areas of the city. We go to Pullman, we go to West Side, South Side, Hyde Park. I get people send me hate mail because I filmed the Obama Presidential Center, you know, fun stuff. You stream in this city, you're going to get some hate mail because a lot of people hate Chicago, but a lot of people love Chicago, so it's part of America. Love it or leave it. But hey, there's your sunrise. Look at that. There's your sunrise over Lake Michigan. I'm going to have to take my glasses off and put them in my pocket here because they're all, my glasses are all messed up. Look at that. They're all frozen. Yeah, frozen mustache. You see that? So this is what it's like to walk in wintertime. It sucks. And here, let me hold on a second here. I'm putting my glasses in the pocket here. Hold on a second. So I'm going to attempt to walk to work without my glasses here. We'll see how this works. Luckily I can still read the screen there. I guess my bifocals helped out my nearsightedness, or my farsightedness there. Or my nearsightedness, whatever it is. Hey, there's your sunrise. We saw it. Look at the smoke on the water. Frozen Lake Michigan. There's your skyline there. Look at that. Okay, here, let's keep going here. So, yeah, look how slick and icy that is. I would be really afraid to walk up there because it's very icy. Hey, look at that. Look at the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. Look how it's reflected in the water. It's very calm. That's why sometimes it's very cold and it's very hard to go to the lakefront in wintertime, but sometimes you get your most interesting, beautiful, and memorable sunrises in the wintertime, because the sunrise is way to the southwest, and then when the lake tries to freeze over, it gets really calm, and if the wind's not blowing. Yeah, the reflection. Yeah, we'll get the reflection as we walk in here. So yeah, we'll walk in along the Lake Michigan. Nick, thanks for checking out the Skyline of Chicago here, January the 28th, 2026. Precariously perched up here is my shadow. So I'm not right by the water, so if I fall, hopefully I'll just fall down there. You gotta get around these sticks. Who put this tree here? It's too close to the place I need to walk. Hey, there's the Skyline of Chicago. Nice reflection in the water. So I'm going to concentrate on getting a nice smooth view to the left here so I can speed this up. So we're just going to film the skyline with the reflection. If I miss your comment, I'm just concentrating on what I'm filming here as we walk around. And I have to take a break here to get around this little break in the path here. Here, let's go on the other side of this fence here. There we go. Hey, there's your view. Look at that. So, hey, good morning. There's your sunrise over, yeah, old man. Thanks for tuning in there. Thanks for watching there. Try to get the camera straight. Yeah, there's your sunrise with, or the skyline with the reflection. And if we go that way, see the lake's trying to freeze over. And that's looking to the southwest, Lake Michigan, Chicago, Illinois. 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 20 or negative 15 Celsius. Yeah, the lake's awesome. Look at that. Everything is awesome. Thanks for the gifts there. Rattling raccoon there, ranting raccoon. Okay, good. How you doing? Yeah, Carolina's. Yeah, it's beautiful. Here, we'll check out the Skyline of Chicago. There's your sunrise. There's a little bird in there. So the lake's still not frozen over. It's trying to freeze over. It was messing with their minds there on Sunday when all the snow was collecting on it. Hey, just relaxing there. Yeah, people keep bringing up. No, well, yeah, the river's a little frozen. We filmed it yesterday. We'll be by there at lunchtime. We'll see if the river is more frozen today than it was yesterday. There were some ice chunks in front of the Trump Tower. Oops, and in front of the Wrigley building, but further down it was open water. So the water's all at the threshold. It's freezes over overnight and then it thaws out during the day a lot. But here's the Gold Coast. The sun has risen over Lake Michigan. We got 7:19 in the a.m. January the 28th, 2026. We got 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 20 or negative 15 degrees Celsius, and 7:20 in the a.m. Hey, look at that nice reflection of the John Hancock in the water. Yeah, Lake Michigan freshwater. Oklahoma, how you doing there? Where the wind comes whipping down the plain. Yeah, we're going for a dip. We're going to take a swim. Now, there is a guy that I think that's what you're referring to. There is a guy that swims every morning. He takes a dip. He did it. They had him on the news there when it was negative 8 degrees. He did a dip there. So we'll head down. So hey, there's your sunrise over Lake Michigan. We walked all the way from that tree on the hook of the jetty for North Avenue Beach. Here's the chess pavilion. Nobody's playing chess today, 5 degrees. But hey, we'll head along the running path. There, look at that. Yeah, just watch what's happening beneath. Yeah, take the river shortcut. Yeah, it's slippery. So hey, we'll just keep this downtown in focus. We'll have the sun to our left. We'll walk along the steaming Lake Michigan. Steamy lake. That is cold. It looks so cold because it is so cold. So there's some ice chunks starting to form there. There's your sunrise. Hey, look how the light hits these buildings in the morning. Very good feng shui. Not only these places, they face east, the rising sun, they face the water. That's very good luck for feng shui tenants. Look at that. Yeah, so, yeah, does anybody know if they rescheduled the polar plunge? It was supposed to be Saturday, January 24th. They canceled it. I know there's a different polar plunge that happens on North Avenue Beach at the beginning of March, but I don't know if the Polar Bear Club of Chicago is rescheduled. I'll go to their website. Maybe there's some information. And if anybody else knows, let me know there. And if I miss it, maybe the mods will see it. There's a house in New Orleans. Yeah. D. Michael, you getting ready for Chris and I? He's going to take the City of New Orleans train to New Orleans. I can't wait for that trip. Get out of this cold weather. And there's your son. Hey, look at that skyline. Yeah, take a hot sauna plunge. That sounds more my cup of tea there. You got to get warmed up instead of cooled down. I never was big for ice baths anyway. I'm more low impact on my knees here, just walking, riding a bike. So where did Jesus go? Tell us where Jesus go. I didn't even know he was in Chicago, but I guess he was here for a little bit, right? You see all kinds of crazy, interesting comments. So this is still the north side of Chicago. This is the Gold Coast. We're just north of the downtown, not that far. There is an east side of Chicago. It's 91st and Commercial. You go down by the old steel plant site there at the mouth of the Calumet River. It's because a lot of the streets on the southeast side of Chicago are east of State Street. So they have east addresses. The State Madison's the 000. And not many places on the north side are east of State Street. The State Street ends at North Avenue, and everything pretty much north of North Avenue is west, north and west on the address grid system. But we went down there. We saw the Blues Brothers Bridge at 95th Street. We filmed that. They raised the bridge. We went to Calumet Fisheries there, 95th Street, and South Chicago Avenue near there. Ewing. We walked over Ewing and the cow sag turning basin there. We also went to the church on 91st Street where James Brown in the Blues Brothers movie, he said, "Do you see the light?" That church is still there, and we talked to some of the parishioners, and they invited us to the church the next week. Isn't that amazing? Chris and I went down there. That was nice. Yeah, the east side of Chicago, Commercial Avenue. You can take the Metra South Shore, or take one of the Metra trains out of Millennium Station and get you down there. So like Beverly, which is the far south side, and the east side of Chicago, you use the Metra to get to them instead of the CTA train system. Even though they're inside the city limits of Chicago, there's areas on the north side like that as well. Northwest side, west side. But here we're on the Gold Coast area, north side of Chicago. It's the John Hancock. Lake Michigan's to our left. We're heading in a southerly direction along the Lakefront running path. The bike paths combined here, they cleared off for the runners. And let me get, there's people jogging here, we'll let them jog by. New Jersey there, you got wind chill of 5. Yeah, you're about the same as us. We got 5 actual temperature. How much snow did you get there in New Jersey? We got... Jesus is riding the bus, yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to find his way home. Oh, I stole those lyrics. Yeah. Who remembers that song? What if God was one of us? Can I sing it right? I like that song. I can't do it justice. Tennessee, how you doing there, Gene? Yeah, the sun comes out tomorrow. Here comes the sun. It'll be all right. Listen to the words of George Harrison there, and the Beatles. Little darling, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Yeah, we'll delude ourselves just like the hippies. We'll live in our little virtual reality here. We'll tune in, turn on, drop out. Yeah, Joan Osborne, thanks. Yeah, Joan, how's Joan been doing? Yeah, I know. Alanis Morissette's still pretty popular. Yeah, Joan Osborne, she was huge. She was huge in the late 90s. Just like, I guess Sheryl Crow's still pretty big. You know, all those, you know, the Spice Girls, all the women singers, Natalie Merchant, you know, all those great singers of the 90s. That's why I'm glad that 4 Non-Blondes, they're getting their just due there. They're getting... Isn't it amazing in the age of live streaming, viral videos, people singing your songs, they can rediscover music from the 90s and 80s and 2000s and give second life to people's careers. Yeah. So this is Lake Michigan. This is Lake Michigan. This is one of the 5 Great Lakes in Chicago. It's not an ocean, it's an inland sea. We're in Chicago, which is Illinois. We're in the Midwest of the United States of America. Thanks for tuning in from all throughout the world here. And this is called Oak Street Beach. This is the John Hancock DuSable Lakeshore Drive. This is expensive housing called the Gold Coast because in the summertime, this is a really nice recreation area. There's a beach there. A lot of people use this for swimming and recreation, bike riding, volleyball, and Chicago has good lakefront parks. But hey, we got 7:28 in the AM. We got 5 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 degrees Celsius. We're heading into work here on a Wednesday, 7:28 in the AM. And thanks for tuning in here. Nothing big. Yeah, see, look at that sun. Two professional musicians coming to the clubhouse. There you go. There, see Michael. Yeah, she nailed it. Joan Osborne. Dolores, how you doing? Thanks, Grandma's Corner. Yeah, beautiful coast. They call this the third coast. Coast with the most. Hey, we'll show you the steaming water by Oak Street Beach here. Yeah, I know everybody tries to nail me down on best and worst and best restaurants and worst restaurants and the best cities and worst cities. I don't think anything's the best or the worst. I know that's not the answer you want to hear. I'm not hedging my bet. You know, it'd be easy. Oh yeah, Chicago's the best, but Chicago has problems. I acknowledge that. I think most things have positive and negatives. Chicago has a lot of positives, but has a lot of negatives. Same with New York City. Same with any other city. If I would say, like, for example, that Singapore was the best city in the world, Singapore has negatives too. You spit on the sidewalk, they'll cane you. You know, if I say Paris is the most beautiful city on the earth, yes, it's great, but they have social unrest in France too. They have a lot of protests on the street in France. You know, positive, negatives, everything. You know, I saw that one of our local Chicago, the auntie, the woman that's your favorite Chicago auntie, she went over to to Paris. She goes, I really was feeling, I wanted a croissant, so I came to Paris, and you could see the Eiffel Tower behind her. She did a good job. I'm envious. Dan Cruz, the guy with the drone there in Humboldt Park, he jet sets around the world. He's always traveling to amazing locations, filming from all over the world. Check out Dan Cruz there. He'll tell you what the best cities in the world are. He goes to Barcelona and Seoul, Korea. Goes to Europe, London. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Here's the shores of Lake Michigan. That's Navy Pier. There's Navy Pier, the Ferris wheel Navy Pier. There's the steamy waves breaking against the shore of Oak Street Beach. So here, we'll show that. It looks like we're in the Yellowstone or something. These crazy formations. Yeah, it's cool. There's Navy Pier with the smokestack, the steam going into the. Hey, if we go out, we can get the sunrise. There, look at that. We'll get the whole thing. There's your sun over Oak Street Beach with Navy Pier in the background. Thanks for checking it out there. Yeah, living life in the fast lane. About to lose control. Life in the fast lane. Hey, let's check out the steam here. Yeah, look at that. You see this Grandma's Corner? So I'm not gonna go any further. You see how icy it is here? That's where we came from. So here's the waves hitting the. Oops, what happened?